Okay, guys, when school starts in 10 days, there are some rules you have to follow, and one of them is don't pull fire alarms unless there's a fire in your school. You can't do that, you just can't. If you do that, then you're going to get suspended from school, you're going to get expelled, or potentially arrested. So don't ever pull fire alarms in your school unless there's a real fire in your school, okay? Yeah. I'll never forget the times I was in elementary school and kids would pull this handle down and they got in a lot of trouble for pulling the fire alarm down without a fire. And I believe they got suspended for doing this, so don't ever do this. It is against the law to false pull a fire alarm at school or in any public building. So don't ever pull fire alarms at school unless there's a fire at the school, okay? Only principals are allowed to set off the alarms for the drills. If they give you permission to set off the alarms for the drills, then you're allowed to set off the drill, but if they don't, you can't set off the drill. Only principals are allowed to set off the alarm for the monthly drills. You only pull fire alarms if there's a real emergency in the school. I mean, if you pull the fire alarm at school when there is no fire, you can get suspended, you can get expelled, or potentially arrested. Pull the fire alarm at school when there's no fire, then you're never going to come back to school. Ever. Yeah. So when you walk into your school and you see these things inside of your school, do not pull it. Unless there's a real fire. Or else you're going to get in a lot of trouble. Your parents or you, if you have the money, you're going to have to pay a big fine to the fire department and the school. Because you pulled a false fire alarm. Yeah. So, don't ever pull fire alarms at school unless there is a real fire in the school, or else you're going to have to face the consequences. Let's hope that my parents never hear that I pulled a fire alarm at school unless there is a real fire. I'm in complete control whether or not that happens. It's it I'm in complete control whether or not I pull the fire alarm when there is no fire. I mean, I can prevent that from happening. It's up to me whether or not this thing gets pulled if there is no fire. I mean, I'm in complete control. it is my decision rather or not I pull the fire alarm when there is no fire. I hope I don't do it, but I'm in complete control whether or not that happens. I mean, if I pull it, then I'm going to be in huge trouble. So I'm not going to pull it. Unless there's a real fire. The reason why people pull the fire alarm when there's no fires because they want to get out of class in school because they do not like school. Say, oh, I want to get out of class, so I gotta pull the fire alarm. Oh, like, my goodness, don't do that. They got in trouble for doing that. Yeah, I'm serious. Do not pull the fire alarm at school when there is no fire, kids. Or else you're going to be in a lot of hot water. I'm not responsible for your actions if you pull a fire alarm at school without a fire. You're in complete control whether or not you do it. I'm not responsible if you do it. So don't you dare and try to summon me because that is not right. And to prevent stuff like this from happening in schools, they put stopper covers over fire alarm pull stations in schools, so there's no kids trying to pull the fire alarm as a joke or prank while they're at school. I mean, years ago, the fire alarm pull stations in the schools around here had no stoppers over them, and I totally regretted that decision to not have a stopper over these things, because someone was going to pull it for fun, and sure enough it happened. Yeah, let's hope they do not make that mistake again and take the stoppers off of these pull stations. I mean, it's a huge mistake. They should have never done that. There should have always been a stopper cover over these things so the kids would not have done something like this. I mean, so if I were building a school and I was in charge of installing the fire alarm system, then I would put stoppers on all the pull stations in that school so the students in that school won't pull them for a joke or prank. That's what I would do. I think every fire alarm pull station inside of a school building should have a stopper over it so there's no false alarms caused by the students pulling them as a joke or prank. Bye.